recording now. Thanks. So anyway, as we mentioned, now taking up, so right now, everything we just talked about was review. Now we're going to be talking about new content, really. So we're going to get into here, and what we're going to do now that we have, we've drawn the first floor, the second floor, and the foundation plan, and now we know how the elevations are put together. How do I actually get these in a format that I can see them? What do I mean by that? Well, whenever you're working in this particular realm, what's going to happen is the deliverable. It's what we call a deliverable. Is going to look like this here. Can you guys see the elevations right here on a printed sheet? Can you guys see that right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, scrolling up here, this is what they're going to look like. You got your first sheet. This is called your cover sheet. And down here, we actually have the sheet number and the sheet name. So A0 is our cover sheet. I have a 3D, kind of a lightly rendered drawing right here. Okay, I've got that in place. Now moving on from here, I've got A1. A1 is the first floor plan. A2 is the second floor plan. A3 is the elevations. A4 is the foundation plan. A5 is the wall section, and A6 is the schedule. So let's take a look at this. So what we had done before, and everything we've been working with, hopefully you're seeing the logic of the course now, is when we did the Southfield project, we did a floor plan. Okay, then once we got the floor plan done, we did elevations. We did the front elevation. Then once we did the front elevation, we did the foundation plan. Once we did the foundation plan, then we did a wall section. And that completed that particular set of drawings right there. Now that's very limited. Of course, in a construction set, you'd have more than that, but that's the basics right there. That's what you'd have right there. So moving on down to here, we've already drawn this. We talked about this. Now, what's different about this? Well, I'm seeing that there's what's called a title block. It says Spring Drive Graphics at the upper right. That's the name of my company, so I just use that. And then down to the right, you see Brennan Corp, and you can put your name in there. And you also want to change this information here. I'll show you how to do that. But anyway, how did this information get on there? Let's find out. Okay, so we want to do this. This is the first goal. I want to have it look like this. Notice down here. Okay, I want you to notice something here. Notice that when you got this right here, can you guys read the scale down here? What's the scale of this particular drawing?
3/8 to a foot.
Yeah, 3/8 of an inch equals a foot. Okay, so we got that. And then you can see the rest of your dimensions there. Okay, so 3/8 of an inch equals a foot. Well, okay, and that will fit on the sheet. By the way, these sheets are 8.5 by 11 inch sheets. So when you print them up, that's going to work out fine for you. So let me go back into time, and let's go back to what we were working on before, back to where I was working in Revit. Okay, so back to Revit, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to continue on this process. So back into here. So I'm going to go here. Can you guys see Revit now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, now going down here, let's just kind of go down here. So first of all, let's take a look at our sheets. These are in your project browser. Now, again, your project browser, you've got up here, you've got your properties up here, and then down here, you got your browser. So in your browser down here, if you scroll down, you're gonna notice I've already put something in here called sheets. And so I'm gonna go to the A0 cover sheet. I go to the A0 cover sheet, and guess what? There's nothing there. There's nothing on here yet. We're gonna change that, but right now I'm just gonna leave that one blank. We'll come back to that one later. So custom garage, there's nothing here, okay? So what we want to do is we want to put something there, okay? So let's first of all do an easier one. We'll go to the A1 first floor plan. So go to A1 first floor plan, and oh man, nothing's here either, Revit sucks. No, it doesn't suck. It's just that you have to put the actual view on the sheet. This is where we're going to discuss what views are. Views are like elevations, okay? Views are the way that we take a look at our particular project, hence the name view. So what do we want to view here? What would be, okay, take a look at the name of the sheet. What do we logically put here?
Level 2.
Okay, take a look at the sheet again. What's it saying?
Attic stairs, level 1. I don't know what the question is. I'm sorry.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, down here, notice what it's identifying. What's it looking for here? What should be placed down here?
Attic stairs.
Okay, I guess I'm not, okay, maybe you're not seeing, oh, okay.
Where's your cursor?
Yes, okay, you guys can't see my cursor. Okay, sorry about that. I'm actually down here. Okay, it says attic stairs, and yes, you're right, the attic stairs are there. Let me go ahead and do this. You guys can't see my cursor, huh? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and do this. Well, let me go ahead and do this. Let's make this a little clearer. All right, you guys can see that, right?
Yeah.
First,
So what
first floor plan.
Yeah, the first floor plan would go here. So that's what we want to do here. So, okay, thanks for letting me know. I thought you guys could see that, but you can't, okay? That must be a Zoom thing, okay? So in any case, the first floor plan. So what do we do then? Over here to my left in my project browser, I've got level 1. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click and hold down my mouse and drag it over. Watch this. See, there's a little kind of a plus sign here. I'm going to drop it here. Okay, so I'm going to drop it right here, and you can see that something is attached to my cursor. So let me drop it here and see what happens. I drop it, and boom, there it is. Okay, so now I can see it. So what I just did there is I dropped it. It doesn't look quite as good as my other one did because it's not been refined, but we want to go ahead and refine it. Let me point something out here. What are we seeing right now that we don't want to see? What is it here that we would probably say, you know what, that doesn't need to be here anymore?
Is that the elevation view?
Yeah, that's the elevation marker right there. We don't need to see the elevation marker. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. So let me show you how this works, okay? So what we're going to do is when we're working with this, we don't want to see the elevation marker. So what we're going to do is we are going to tell Revit that we don't want to see it. Remember how we did that. I'm going to go back to level 1, okay, back to here, because this is where the information on the sheet is coming from. It's coming from here. So right now you can see these elevation markers. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to turn those off. So I'm going to go to my visibility graphics. I'm going to go to my annotation categories. I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to scroll down here until I see elevations. And I see elevations, and I'm going to uncheck it, hit my apply, and those disappear. All right, so we got there. So now I just cleaned up that view. So let's go back and take a look at our sheet and see how it's looking now. So go back to my sheet, and this is the first floor plan, looks there. Okay, so that's a start, okay? We don't see our elevations. This is still not doing very well, but we're getting there. Now, notice right here that it says level 1, 3/8 of an inch equals a foot. So the actual scale is 3/8 of an inch equals a foot. I don't know if you guys noticed that before, but let me go ahead and show it to you on the other sheet to make sure we're clear on that so you understand where I'm getting at. So you're not thinking I'm just kind of making it all up. There's actually a place that you are going to find that, and that is actually, I might, forgive me if I've already mentioned this, but I want to make sure you guys are clear about this, and that would be back over here. Where is that? Okay, that's there, that's there, that's there. Okay, maybe. Oh, right here. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Okay, you guys should be able to see these sheets again. Okay, so what we've got going on right here is, remember we talked about this? We said that this was 3/8 of an inch. Okay, let me go ahead and circle that so you guys are clear about that, because right now I want to make sure that it is very clear. All right, because it has to be clear. All right, now again, down here, this is what you're going to be using. Okay, so in this particular case, I talked about this and we said it was 3/8 of an inch equals a foot. I'm going to circle that to make sure we're all clear on that. And then we're going to move on from there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and annotate that. Going to put a little mark over that. All right, this is what I'm talking about. 3/8 of an inch equals a foot. That's what we have to be mindful of. So that's the scale on the final documents. That's what I want to use. So now that we understand that, let's go back over there. Make sure we are where we should be. So go back to Revit, and can you guys see Revit now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what I've got right here is this is 3/8 of an inch equals a foot, so that's the right side. Now, a couple things about this that's a little bit weird. Okay, you'll notice that when I click on this here, I get a rectangle. Okay, and this rectangle is called a viewport. I have my cursor is called a viewport, and I can take that viewport and kind of pull it down, kind of where it should be. Okay, now when I do that, you're going to notice that this doesn't align very well. Okay, so what I have to do is to get that to align is I actually have to go here. And I have to actually click on the edge of the viewport. Now, when I click on the edge of the viewport, you'll notice that this lights up. This down here, this level 1, and it has a couple of, it turns blue, and it's got a lighter blue circle down here. That means I can go ahead and do some editing with this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, I can pull it over to the side. So I can go ahead and take this, and I can pull it over the side a little bit, so like this right here. So when you see those circles, that means you can edit those. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so that is how we go ahead and lengthen or shorten that. So just be aware that this can be done. You'll thank me for that a little bit later. So then once I have that in place, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and move this up. So I take it and drag it up. When I click on it just by itself, I can go ahead and place this where I want it to go. And where I want to place it according to my plan is somewhere kind of like right around here, something like that. So go ahead and drop it there. Now once I have that, I could go ahead and I could go ahead and pull this down a little bit. And when I pull this down, it's going to do that. It's going to shove it off the page. So I just click on this individually. And I'm using my arrow keys to move it up there. So you have this facility to either move the viewport, which contains the view, or the actual title underneath. So you can do either. You can actually move one or move the other. And that's something you'll get used to. So now once I've done that, that's looking pretty good. It's like I've got the basic dimensions in there. It's got everything in there. The add stairs notation, which I left in there, I could actually click on that. And then I would just use my arrow key to move it down. See it here? And I'm going to move it over and like down. And that's a notation that I just had left, okay? But you can use it. So you've got that there, and that is what that view should look like. So when it's all done, it looks like this here. Now, there's one thing you're going to notice here, and I'm going to point it out here because it's something that you're going to want to kind of change. And what we're going to do is going back over here to this, is you're going to notice looking at the custom garage floor plan. I'm going to go down here a little bit. You're going to notice something. The rectangle, you don't see the rectangle around this outside here. Okay. Did you see that blue highlight right there?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, you see the blue highlight. Okay. There is a rectangle on your sheet that is not on here. So we don't want that. We do not want that rectangle. That's the viewport. That rectangle represents the viewport, so we don't want that. So here's what we're going to do right now is we're going to go back over here and we're going to go back to the other. Okay, so going back over to Revit. Okay, back to Revit here. Okay, so now I'm seeing this. Why am I seeing this? Okay, that is what is known as your viewport or your crop region. Your crop region showing right now. So I'm going to go back and I can turn this off by going to level 1. And when I go to level 1, I can go to here and I can turn off that crop region. Let's see here. So I can go ahead and turn that on or off. And this right here, I'm going to turn that crop region on or off. And okay, and then back over to first floor plan. Looks like this. Okay, and so it's off. Okay, so because of what's showing up, it's off now. Okay, you just want to make sure it's off. Okay, and that's how you turn it off. So now that one is pretty much done. Now here's the thing. Over here, what you can do is you can double click on the sheet. And here where it says Breading Corp, you'll put your name in there. So, let's say I was doing this. Let's say my name was Smith. I'd go ahead and type in Smith. All right, Smith Corp. All right, you can go ahead and do that. And that's something that you guys can put your name in there to personalize it. Down here, if I drawn by, you put in John Smith. Like that. Okay, just so that you have identification with that. And you'll notice that it's automatically populated with this scale right here. It's already there, and you don't have to do anything else as far as like the number of the sheets. It's already done. And that is how we go ahead and do these sheets. So that is how we would do level 1. Any questions about that? How we populate a sheet in Revit? Okay, we'll move on from there. So that's how we do that one. And the next one we're going to do now is the second floor plan. So I'm going to go to the second floor plan. When I go to the second floor plan, there's nothing here. So what do I want this to look like? Well, going back over to, let's see here. Let's see if I can't find the other sheet. Should be able to find it. Let's see here, level 1. Let's see. All right, if I can find that. And down here. All right, footing. All right, footing is this one. And then see if this is the right one. Yes, okay. Okay, there we go. This is what it should look like. Level 2 should look like this right here. Again, it's going to say attic stairs. And again, it's going to have the stairs there. And again, it's going to have this other information. So that's what it should look like, okay, when I get done. So that being the case, what do I do here? Well, I'm going to go back over here to this, okay? And I don't have anything on here yet. So let me go ahead and let me ask you the question again, because it's always good to have this interaction, make sure you're learning and you're not just kind of falling asleep and doing Facebook right now while I'm trying to teach. And so I'm going to go right here and let me ask you, what would be the logical item that I'd place on here?
Second floor plan.
Yes, second floor plan, okay? So, by the way, when I ask questions, they're really always going to be there are always going to be slow softballs right over the plate, okay? I'm never going to do anything too tricky with you because I want to make sure you feel confident. I don't want to throw anything tricky at you. Okay, so anyway, that's what we have here. So the second floor plan, let's go ahead and go over here. So second floor plan is level 2. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing, drag level 2 over here, and I'm going to drop it, boom, like that. Now when I do that, it looks like that. That one's pretty much the way it should be. The only thing I think I'm missing 2 things right in this one. The 2 things that I'm missing, if I go back over here to identify those things, would be, it's actually, I've got an extra dimension here that I don't need. And then the other thing would be the tag. The window tag is missing, okay? So I gotta get rid of the dimension and add the tag. So back to level 2. So when I go to level 2 here, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get rid of this dimension. We don't need that anymore, okay? And then what we're going to do is the tag. The window does not have a tag. So I want to put a tag in there. That's under view right here. And I would go right here to what we would refer to as our, actually not, it's under annotate, sorry. It's under annotate, and we go here to tag by category, and I want to uncheck leader. I want to uncheck the leader. I'm going to go ahead and touch this. And when I do this, I can click there, and it gives me right there the tag. Okay, so we got that. And move the tag out here like that, boom, that's what it should look like. So there we go. So those are the couple things you want to do there. Once I've completed that, I'm going to go back to the A2 second floor plan, and that is pretty much a match right there. We're good to go there. Same thing goes here. You'd go ahead and right now, since I left it at Brennan Corp, if you change this to Smith Corp, it would carry over, okay? So you won't have to do that. You do that once. However, down here, you'll notice it drawn by, that's not populated. So I go ahead and put my name in here. So I like to use all caps like that and check by at this point. I will be checking yours. So you can put my name in there and we can make that happen like this. All right, like that. And the rest of this information is populated. You'll notice it right here. It timestamps it 11/5/2020, 6:36, and whatever the seconds are right there. It keeps on changing, okay? So it's going to go ahead and kind of count those off. So this is actually really cool because this is how easy it is to put together construction documents in Revit. So I've got that right there, and then what I would do next is I would then continue on, and I could then go ahead and take this, and I could I can continue on that process. Okay, so I've got that right there. So what I could do here is this is not where I want it, but I could move it. So I'm going to go to level 2. I'm going to get really close into here and grab my notation here. And if it won't let me grab my notation, I'm going to hold my tab key down and make sure it's got that. And go ahead and do this. All right, so you got that. And so you got this right here. So that's what you got there. So you want to make sure that's in place. Now, moving right along. Now we go to our next sheet. And this next sheet is elevations. So in the elevations right here, it looks like this right now. Those are all in place right now on this one. However, what I want to do is I want to go over to my, I think I'm in the wrong one right here. Let me go back to the other project. Make sure I'm where I need to be. I've got 2 projects open right now. I want to make sure I'm doing this correctly in the different situations here. So we got first floor, second floor. Okay, let's see here. Okay, this one, the elevations are not there yet. Okay, so this is what we want to work on here. The second floor plan here. Okay, I've got that. Okay, we're good to go there. And then the elevations. Now looking at the elevations here, we're missing them. So guess what we do? We'd go over here and see what we get as a result. So we go to elevations. I'd go to east to start. So I'll double click there, and we already did this change on here. I moved this over. So that one's ready to be pulled on. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to my elevations, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this view over and see what I get. So I'm going to pull this over, drop it here, see what I get, drop it there, and that looks like that. That's what it should look like. And then the other views, north, go ahead and pull it. Oh, that went ahead and went a little too eager on that one right there. So let me go ahead and pull that one down. Okay, that's the wrong one. I want to be in the other elevations. Here we go. So that one's in there. I'm going to grab north, and I'm going to pull this one over here. Now notice what I get here. Watch what happens when I pull this over. All right, notice that right there? See what that's doing right there? It's actually giving me the roof line right there. It's actually aligning the roof line, okay? And the thing is, I could actually try to kind of pick up these right here, try to put up the roof line. It's picking up the roof line quite nicely, so it's doing this. So I can move the title later, but I definitely want the roof line to be aligned. So I'll click there, drop it, and boom, those are now perfectly aligned, okay? So now that I have that, I can go ahead and I can click on the edge of this, and I can go ahead, actually, I want to do it this way. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to pull that down. So that's in line like that. So now we have that. Now those two are in alignment like that. Looks very good. I would do the same thing. I'd go to south, drag south over here, and south gets placed right there. You notice that south is trying to find it right there. Should be able to find it pretty clearly. I think that should look pretty good there. Yep, that one lines up pretty nicely. And I did my best to kind of get these all looking good for you guys, so you should be good to go. And I'm just going to try to align them as best I can. There we go, and there we go. And they're going to drop it right there. So when you're done, this is what your elevations will look like, and that's pretty easy. And the scale of each of these is 3/16 of an inch equals 1 foot. They should be. You shouldn't have to change that. And then over here, you would, again, you would update it with your particular name for the corporation, and then you'd also put in, who it was drawn by. Okay, like that. And then I go to here, and then you can put my name in for the checker, because that ultimately is how this project is going to work. So we have that. So we got the elevations. Okay, so those are all in place. We are looking good. All right. So then from there, now that we got a pretty good idea as far as how sheets work, the next thing is foundation plan. And foundation plan is, again, the same thing we've been working on up here. And the foundation plan I'd grab here, which is footing. I'll grab the footing. I'll go ahead and drag this over here and drop it. And it looks like that. And that's pretty much perfect. So we're good to go there. So you see, once you get your model built, placing these on the sheets is actually pretty much the easiest part, but you just got to know how Revit behaves to get that to happen. So we got that. And now the last thing, well, I should say the penultimate, second to last thing, is the wall section. Now the wall section, well, what's going on with the wall section? Well, there's nothing there yet. So let's go to our other project just to kind of get an idea as far as what that looks like. I think it's over here. Let's see if I can get the wall section over here. Nope, still the wrong one. So let me go over here to the second floor plan, see if we can get the wall section over here. Okay, nope, let's get out of there. Let's try this again. All right, here, okay, this is what you're going to draw. This is what the wall section looks like. Now, you're going to notice something here, and that is that there's a lot of information here, but it's not overwhelming. It's just basically giving you some data. Now, here's the thing. Let's do a quick full stop right now. And when I do this full stop, I just want you to kind of, take a little deep breath here. And take a look at what you see here. This is a section view. Now this section view looks an awful lot like what we did in AutoCAD before, but there is a difference. The difference is that this particular wall section has a starting point that started in Revit. Okay, that's the thing, so it starts in Revit. Now once we have this right here, what we have to do is kind of consider how this all works. You're going to notice that it's got these notations, and it's actually finding these different elements. Like out here, it's actually pointing out to the shingles. And then it's actually got your plywood, half-inch plywood, and then 2x6 pre-engineered truss. So those three elements are all labeled, okay? Well, where did all this come from? How did we get this wall section? How do you find that? Well, this is the thing. When you're working with Revit, one of the things we talked about is views. A view can be a floor plan. A view can be an elevation. A view can also be a section. So we're going to put in a section right now. And so to put in a section, what I'm going to do right now is I am going to go over here and I'm going to go to, now let me know what that looks like. Okay, so we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back throughout this. But let me show you the elements that are part of this before I leave this one. This is complete. And let me show you what we're going to do with this one right here. I'm going here and I'm going to go to here. Now, take a look at this. What you've got happening right now is this kind of a thing. Okay, so what I have going on right here is this. All right, this right here. Who could tell me what that looks like? Has anybody worked with plans and understands what that might be?
Installation.
It's a what now?
Installation.
Okay, all this is insulation down here, right?
Double sill plate.
Yeah, it's a double sill plate. Very good. Thank you. Who was that?
Omar.
Okay, yes, very good, Omar. So that's a double sill plate right here. Okay, 2x4s. There's two of them right here, and they're stacked. Okay, now what you're looking at right here, this is what is called a nominal section view. Now, let me explain something here. This is something that you guys may or may not be aware of, but you'll notice right here, if I hover my cursor, it says nominal cut lumber. Well, what do you mean by nominal? Let me explain what that means. Okay, what you're talking about is nominal. When you're talking about that in Revit, okay, when you're talking about that, let's see if I can get this to pick us off here. Go to there to there. All right, let's see if we can't get that to work. Not sure if I'm going to be able to get that to work. Yeah, I think I should go here to here. And what does it tell me there? Okay, that's 3.5. Now, let me ask you a question. If this is supposed to be a 2x4, why does it say 3.5?
Because that's what it is when they come from factory.
Yeah, that's actually how big they are. Now, for those of you who are kind of new to this whole thing, a 2x4 is actually not really a 2x4. And when we say a 2x4, we mean 2 inches by 4 inches. So think about that. Think about 2 inches by 4 inches. Now that is the end of the board. Okay, that's the dimensions of the end of the board, 2 inches by 4 inches. And then it can be however long you want it to be. This one would be probably 16 feet, or it might be 20 feet or something else. But that's a long, it's a long board. But we're just looking at the end of it. That's the profile. It's 2x4. Now, the reason a 2x4 is not really a 2x4 is because they used to be. Years ago, a 2x4 used to be exactly 2 inches by 4 inches. And then as time went by, the lumber industry got better and better at dressing lumber to exact sizes. However, when they did that, they actually decreased the size. So this is the reality of it. Now, a 2x4 is actually now 1.5 by 3.5. That's actually how that works. And everybody knows that who actually builds anything, and that's actually how you use it. So you notice when we measure this is 3.5. So the size is nominal. So a 2x4 is nominal. The word nomin comes from the word name, okay? When you use the word name, you're actually using this Latin word, which is nomen, N-O-M-E-N, which actually means name. Okay, so nominal means the actual name, not the real value. But right now, we don't go into a store and say, okay, Mr. Lumberyard guy, go to the 84 Lumber or Home Depot or Lowe's and by the way, Home Depot and Lowe's have the worst lumber. If you really want good lumber, go to 84. Anyway, that's another side. But anyway, you got to really look around to get good lumber if you're at 84, rather if you're at Lowe's or Home Depot. Anybody who's, can anybody testify? Can I get a witness here?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so I built a few things in my day, and I know how that works. Okay, anyway, so you got these things. So you do not go into at the lumber counter and say, Mr. Lumber Guy, I would like some 1.5 by 3.5. He would say, well, you mean 2x4s, and you would, sheepishly say, yes, that's what I want. So they call them 2x4s. That's just what they always were. They still are. Even up in Canada, where they use the metric system, they still use 2x4s, just the way it is. Hasn't caught on to call it however centimeters by or centimeters or millimeters. They don't do that. So this is what is known as a 2x4, and this is what is called a double top plate, okay? Which means there's 2 of these stacked at the top of the wall, okay? That's what holds up the roof, the ceiling, whatever else it might be. So they go at the top. So that's something that you have going on there. So, okay, so I understand that. Let's go back to Revit. So what does Revit do then? Okay, so Revit is doing this right here. Does Revit put these actually in there for me automatically? No. Here's where Revit depends upon you to understand what you're drawing, okay? And so for you to complete a set of a wall section in this kind of situation, you are going to have some knowledge of what's going into that wall, and you'll have to complete some level of detail. Okay, that's just the way it is. So after all this great Revit stuff, you kind of go back to AutoCAD mode, and you're going to go back to some 2D drafting, and that's exactly what we're going to get into right now. So taking a look at that, now we understand that there's your double top plate right there. You got 2 studs stacked right there. And then this is your insulation right here. And then down to the bottom, you have an interesting little thing going on here, and that is you've got another 2x4 at the bottom, which would be called your sole plate or your bottom plate. And then you have right here a bolt, okay, a hook side bolt. Okay, so we have that right there. So these are the elements that we're actually taking place in here. And the rest of all this view is actually going to be generated from what we call a section. So the section will do this. Now, how does this work? Well, let's take a look at it. So in this one right now, if I'm back over here on level 1, okay, what I see right now is I don't see my elevations. I don't see my sections either, but guess what? We learned how to do that. So I'm going to go to View, I'm going to go to my Visibility Graphics, and I'm going to go here to my Annotation Categories, because this is not a model thing. So watch this. I'm going to scroll down here just to show you how this works, and I'm going to turn on what's called my Section View. So go to Section, I'll put a check mark here, and watch what happens when I hit Apply. You see that show up? Okay, so it just showed up right here. Okay, I go back to Sections, and I go ahead and hit Apply, and it takes it off. I check it. It puts it back on, Apply. So that's my section right there. So now that I see that, Okay, that's actually the section view that I had there. And I meant to leave that on, and I didn't. Okay, so I'll go back to here. Let's see, we're going to get back to my section view, and I thought I had it. I just hit apply, but I guess I didn't hit it. I didn't hit OK. You got to hit OK for it to stay on. So if you don't do it, you'll do what I'm doing right now. So hit there, hit OK. So now that's in there. Now you notice what this says right here. It's automatically populated right now because I'd already done this. And this says the view is defined by the section, and the sheet is A5. So A5 is the sheet, and that's where this is going to go. So I'm going to double click on the arrow, okay? So watch this, I double click and boom, boom. Hey, look at that. That's what you actually get. That is the view. And then all this other notation that comes in here right now all has to do with the particular view that we had, that we actually put together. So you have all this information, and that's all in there. Looks like a couple of these things got a little bit kind of messed around here. So I can go ahead and fix that like that, and we go ahead and make that happen. Okay, so now we have an idea. Now let me just give you a quick idea as far as how this all works together. I'm going to go back to level 1, back over here. I'm going to put in another. I'm going to put in another wall section just to show you how this works. I'll pretty much put the same view in, and then we'll fix it. But just to go ahead and click on this, it shows you this is the defined view right here. Just this little section right there is all I really asked for. Now, as I go in here, I'm going to make another section here. I'm going to go to section right here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put another right next to it. Go right from here down to there, and drop it. And I'm going to drop it right there. So I got that. Now watch what happens when I double click on this one. Okay, it looks like that there. Okay, that's a lot of information, more than I need, because it is giving me some information that I do not want. So go back to here. And what I'm going to do is, as I click on this right here, you'll see that the area that's defined by this one is much larger. Okay, so therefore it's giving me a lot of data that I don't want. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this smaller like the other one was. Okay, I'm going to pull this down, go like that, pull it back in like that. We got that. I'm going to double click on this, and when I do this, boom, boom, now this is what it looks like. So when you actually do your section view, this is all you're going to get. So what's missing here? Well, my insulation's missing. My double top plate's missing. My bottom plate is missing. So none of that stuff is in there. So guess what I got to do? I got to go in here, and none of my notation's in here. So what I have to do is I have to go in here and take this section view and make it into the other view that I saw there. So that means I need to take that view and make it look like this. So how do I do that? Well, let's take a few minutes break. It's 6:51. We're going to take a few minutes. We'll take, let's go ahead and take 5 minutes. We'll come back in 5 minutes, and we'll continue on with this process, not your understanding it. So let's take 5. I'll see you guys in 5 minutes, and we will continue on this discussion. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, we're going to continue on here. Thank you for sharing that. And we're going to continue on. I'll show you guys how to make this particular item right here. Okay, this is what it looks like when we're done. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our own. Okay, and when we do that, that'll open up, I think, a lot of really good answers for you guys. Okay, so what we'll do now is we're going to go over here, back over to our project, which would have been, let's see here, I think it's here. Let's see, nope, we're going to get out of there and we're going to go, let's see here what this looks like. So we put these in. Okay, here. Okay, this is what I want to work on. So the wall section right here. So what we're going to do is you start off this process by going back to level 1. And you'll see with level 1 right here, I've got this in place right now, and there is no section view yet. Let's verify that. So to do that, we go to our view and we'll turn on our section information. So visibility graphics under annotation categories, we're going to turn on our sections, and we go to sections. Okay, nothing's there yet. So I'll go to sections and apply that. Boom. Okay, looks like there is a section there, all right? But that one's not what we want, okay? We don't want that one, so I'm gonna get rid of this. So I'm gonna go here, delete that. Oh, actually what I could do is I could actually move that over, couldn't I? I could just move it. I'll just make a new one though. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. So to make a new section, I would go here to section, and I'm gonna put a section right here just to show you how this works, and go like right to here. I'm gonna click here and bring it down to there. Boom, boom, like that. Then I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten this, okay, because I only want a little section. I don't want the door. I don't want the rest of this information. I just want that much. So when you make the section, that's what it's going to look like. You start off by drawing the section by where you want this upper circle and triangle to go, and you pull it to the location you want the flag to go, and that's where you're going to want to place it. So when I double click on this, watch what happens. Boom, boom, opens that up right there. And that is the view we're going to start with. So we start with this view right here. Now, the levels, I don't need this information. I don't need this notation. So I'm going to highlight this right here, and I could do this a couple different ways. I could go to my visibility graphics, as we've been talking about. When I go to visibility graphics, I would go ahead and I'd turn off my level information. I go to levels right here, and I go to levels, click there, and hit apply, and hit OK. So we do that. So that is what we have there. And you've got these things right here. All right, so I got those things in place. Okay, so now we have that. This is the basics. Now, like we talked about, there's some things in here that are missing. So before I go any further, let me explain something that may be helpful, and that is this right here. You're going to see that as you get into this right now, you got these lines. You can see the different lines, and they represent the different elements that make up this particular section. Now, if I go down here, you'll notice that I've got coarse, medium, and fine. If I go to coarse, watch what happens. Coarse actually only gives you a few lines here. So by default, I think I have this set up to be fine. But if you're not seeing the lines, check this out here. You got coarse, you got medium, and then you got fine. You want to make sure you're on fine. Fine gives you the detail that you want. It gives you the max detail. Now, once you've got that, you've got to start, okay? But you're missing some things, which we talked about. You do have your fill route down here in this section down here. And I may open this up just a little bit, just to pull this over a little bit like that. Okay, and that gives me a pretty good place to start. Now, how do we begin to work with this? Well, let's talk about what we talked about before, which is going to be the detail information. Okay, now the detail information is actually located, where is that stuff? Where's the detail? Okay, under families. Okay, so what you're going to do is see here, it says families. Let me go ahead and highlight that so you guys can see it. And what you want to do is you want to click down here. And down here it says families, you're going to go down here. And you're going to expand this, and you're going to click the plus sign. So when we click on the plus sign right here, it will then open this up, and we will see on here that there is some information down here. And one of the things that we want to see is details, which are right here, detail items. So when we click on detail items, this is where the mother load is. Under detail items, this is where your anchor bolts are going to be, and down here is your nominal cut lumber sections. And we said before 2x4. So I'm going to grab 2x4, and I'm going to pull it in to my section. And you'll notice that there it is right there, okay? Now, as I go ahead and hit my space bar, it rotates it around like that. So I can go ahead and rotate it to the proper configuration. Your space bar does that. You can also use your arrow keys. And I'm gonna go ahead and click there and drop it right there. There it is, okay? And if I hover my cursor right there, that tells me right there that that is, come on, you tell me what you are, okay? All right, right there, I click on it. It tells me it's a nominal cut lumber section, 2x4. Again, that's nominal. And if I measure it, we are going to see that the real size is actually 3.5. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so that's in place right there. Okay, so then up here, we go ahead and do the same thing. We'd go ahead and place some 2x4s up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this and drag it over, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to go do it one more time. I'm going to grab it here and pull it across. And I'm going to drop it there. And I'm going to drop another one right underneath there. Boom, and if I can do this, boom. Like that. Oh, and I missed it. All right, but I'll do it one more time. All right, so go like this. Come on, you. All right, now we're going to do this. All right, like that, and I should be able. It locks in pretty nicely. Okay, so I've got that. Okay, so I went ahead and did that. That's pretty straightforward. Now the next thing I need to do is fill up this space with insulation. So how do I do that? Well, again, this is going to be on your annotate, which is right here. Your annotate tab, and insulation is right here. So go to insulation. I'm just going to go ahead and take it right up here. I'm going to start here and pull it down. It automatically fills the cavity. It's got intelligence that does that. So go ahead and do this. I pull it down to that point there. We're good to go. So we already have a lot of information lining up the way it should, okay, which is exactly what you want to do. Now, next thing you want to do is you want to start to cover up some of this information up here because it's not the way it should be. Okay, so to do this, part of this right here is this information right here. This actually is your floor joist, and you want to run it all the way over to the wall here. Okay, that's how we're going to do this detail. You might do things differently, but that's how we're going to go ahead and make this look that way. So I'm going to go over here to take a look at this. Let's go to a different one here. All right, over here. Okay, now when we go over to here, you're going to notice that I have this same thing right here. I got this right here. That is a masking region. Okay, and I put in that masking region to cover up that detail there. Okay, so it looks like that there. So I can go ahead and do that. When I do that, it covers up that information and pulls this information up to the top. And this stud goes to the end. Then you notice there's something else that's in here right now. I got this right here. That's another masking region that's right there. So a masking region allows you to go in and to remove information that you don't want to see, which is what I'm going to do right here. So it looks like this here. So to do this, we mask it. It's like putting, it's like masking with some masking tape, or basically it's putting a little, like masking tape. That's actually a good analogy. So back over to here, and what we're going to do now that we have this, we're going to go ahead and mask this. So to do this, we would go under here to annotate, and you'll notice that right under here, you've got a region. You can make a filled region or a masking region. A masking region allows you just to say, I don't want to see anything here. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go ahead and make this. Now, one thing I want to do here is I want to make this invisible lines, okay? So the border of this masking region will be invisible. You won't be able to see it. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to create this one right here. And to do this, I'm going to just go ahead and draw this. Go to here, and across over to here, then up. I want to come up to this section right here, basically, if I can get it there. I can always pull later. And we'll go over here, and we'll go down to here, and we'll pull it down. And once I've done that, I go ahead and click on that, and it should have done that. Hit my green check mark, and you can see there's your section right there. So it looks like that there. So that's what you get right there. That is what a masking region does. It masks, right? So once you got that, then what you would do is you would then, now in this particular case, it needs to go up a little bit because I didn't get it as far as I wanted it to. So I need to align it with this, like that. And then now that looks about right. Now, there's a problem because these lines need to go over. They need to extend over. And I also need to go ahead and get rid of this. So I have to mask that too. So I want to mask that. So this one, I'll use my masking region. And this one, I'm going to mask it. And I'm going to use, again, invisible lines. I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a point right here and over to here and up and there and up to there and then down. And then I will hit my green check mark, and then you got that. So you got that going on right there. So now that you got that going on, you can see that that's masked, and now we need to continue these lines over. So how do we do that? You would use what's called a detail line. And again, this is all kind of, we'd almost call it cheating because everything we've done in Revit so far has been referring to the model, and we're not doing that anymore. So we're going to go here, and I'm going to go to the detail line. And to make a detail line, you'll notice that you got these different choices. You got hidden, you've got medium lines. I'm not even sure what lines is. But anyway, you've got this, you got thin lines, you got wide lines. We'll just use a thin line. And we'll go ahead and just grab it right here. and we're going to click here, and we're going to look straight over like that. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to repeat it, going right from here over to here, and like that. And we're going to do it one more time from here over to there, and repeat that, and do that. Now, you'll notice that these lines kind of can flake out on you a little bit. It's just how it works. I don't really know why. It just does that. And the thing is, so, you know, you just kind of got to zoom in out a little bit to make sure it looks the way you want it to. And, you know, that's just the way it works. So anyway, let's see if that hidden boundary is a problem here. I'll go this line. No, that's invisible, it should be. Okay, so sometimes these things kind of lie to you a little bit, but when you zoom out, it's going to look right. And so you just got to kind of get it looking right, like right there. That thing is kind of showing up and then it's not showing up. I'm not sure why that view's there right there. But it is. It's kind of, yeah, okay, there, look, that looks right. And that's what the view should look like, where you can't see anything. That's what the view should look like, essentially. So you've got that going on right there. And we are good to go there. And then it looks like we just need one more little masking section over to here. So I'm going to grab this. Actually, rather than edit that, I'm just going to make a new one. So I'm going to make one more masking region down here to fill this. So the masking region, I'm just going to go to here and across and up and then down and hit the green check mark. And we've then got that. Okay, so we've got that going on. And that is how it works. Okay, so we've got that going on. Now at that point, again, it's sometimes this thing just doesn't really give you great visualization. I don't know why it does that. It just does. But I did what I was supposed to, which for whatever reason, it's just not giving me what I want. So you may need to zoom in out a little bit until it gets you what you want it to see. All right, then maybe I gotta pull this over a little bit. All right, that's how that works. Okay, so once that's all complete, it should look something like that. And if you need to pull your lines over a little bit to make it look right, you can do that. Or, you know, whatever you might need to do to get that right, you might need to put in a couple lines to make it look correct. But that's part of getting this stuff, you know, getting this all together. So it's a little bit of a process, you know, but the thing is, if you're kind of missing lines, you can go back in here and just fill them in so they are where they should be. And like this too, if that's not really giving you what you're after, like that. And then at that point, you should be good to go. And yeah, then it should look basically, again, like that. So when you're done, that's what it should look like. Now, now that we've done that, there should be one more line right there, shouldn't there? Yeah, that's, sometimes these will actually kind of like occlude or go over or hide information that you want to see. So we'd go ahead and pull that over like that. And then we have this. Okay, so that's what it should look like when you're all done. Okay, that's what we have there. And that is actually an element that we do not want to see. It's interesting. What's that doing there? Oh, that's a garage door. Okay, looks like I got to fix that. Now you'll notice that garage door track is showing up right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this so that it doesn't show that anymore. So I'm going to go back to here, level 1, and I'm going to look at the area that I'm looking at right there. It looks like, yeah, I picked up the garage door track. So I'm going to pull this in a little bit. And when I do that, it's going to reflect over the other side. So to do that, I go to there, and then I go back over to where I was, which was in the wall section, so that that doesn't show up. Because all these are connected. You just got to, once you understand that, this will all look it'll all look very easy for you. So back to here, and you can see that right now you do not see that wall section anymore. That is not visible. So let's see here, the wall track. It's still showing up there, isn't it? Okay, so we could go ahead and yeah, we could do that. And then what I could do is I could just hide it in this view. That's the other thing you do. I can go to this, right click, and go to hide this in the view, that particular element. I don't want to see that. Okay, so that doesn't going to show up anymore. So I have that going on right there. Now what do I do next? Okay, well, what I've got going on down here is I have this, and I need to put in an anchor bolt. We saw the anchor bolt at the bottom. Again, that's under the detail information. So under families, under details, down here, I've got this, and it looks like this here. Detail items, anchor bolts, hook side. I'm going to start with a 3/4 inch example. I'm going to grab this and pull it over. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to drop it right around here, like this. All right, like this. And we'll go ahead and drop it like that. And we'll do that. And then once we have that in place, what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to here, and then we will, if you need to move it over, by the way, you just use your arrow keys to kind of like move it around a little bit. And, you know, it might take a little bit of dinking around. Zooming in is your friend, because zooming in allows you to get a good view of it. And then what you can do is click on this, and then you can actually pull it into position. Kind of like with our doors, you know, we worked with our doors and stuff before. You can do the same thing here. You can also use this to right here kind of elongate or to shorten the that particular, okay, cancel that. Okay, we can do this and we can pull this back a little bit like that. Like this, come on, you. Okay, we'll leave it like something like that. Okay, so then that gives that. Okay, so that's what the anchor bolt looks like. So those are the basic elements. Now, so now we've got a basic idea how to put this together. The last thing is putting in your notes. So before we put in the notes, we have to make sure that the actual section is correct. Now, notice that the section, we talked about the section before. Where is that information? Well, the information is down here. What is the scale of this section?
3/8 of an inch to a foot.
Yep. And in the construction documents, it's supposed to be 1 inch equals a foot. So I want to go ahead and I want to change it to 1 inch equals a foot. So how do I do that? Well, I just go down here and I change it here, clicking here, change it from 3/8 to 1 inch equals a foot. So 1 inch equals a foot. Boom. Now when I do that, everything is so much smaller, but that's okay because it's gonna look better when I put in my text. So now I'm gonna put my text in. So I'm gonna zoom in here. I'm gonna start by putting in the text up at the top. So to do this, to put in your text, you're gonna stay under annotate and you go to text right here. Now when you put in text, you can go ahead and click on text. And when you do this, you can just put in plain text, or you can put in text with what is called a leader. And a leader is what you want. That's an arrow. An arrow is gonna point to a particular object. You're gonna put a note on it. So I'm gonna start with this one. I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna go ahead and pick a point right around here. I'm gonna pull this down here. I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna type in asphalt shingles. Asphalt shingles. Okay, and when I do that, I need to take a look and see if it's the right size. I think that's about right. I think that might be about the right size. But I'm just gonna go ahead and move it up a little bit and move it over. Just make sure it's where it should be. So asphalt shingles looks about like that. Then I would continue on doing the same kind of a thing. I'd go ahead and go to text again, and I would go ahead and use this again. And the next one down is going to be 1/2 inch plywood. So we're here, and the plywood is right here. This is the next one. So down here, and I can actually notice that when you do this, it's going to find previous leaders and let you put it in, so that they're consistent. Okay, so that's 1/2 inch plywood. Like that. All right, and the next one is 2x6 pre-engineered attic truss, which would be here. So I pull it down to here again, and I can make it go ahead and do this, and go there. And 2x6 pre-engineered like that. Okay, so you got that. And then I'm going to go ahead and move those up a little bit. Oh, didn't want to do that. Want to move that over. Didn't want to do those. Not that. Just those. Okay. And you can just kind of like move it around to, make it fit, and then make sure it's where it should be. And it is. Okay, so that's how it should work. Now that's how you put in the text. Pretty straightforward. And then what you want to do is you want to turn off this called the crop region, which is right here. So this gets turned off down here. There is this element down here which allows you to turn this on and off. Okay, down here, and it looks like this. It looks like a light bulb with kind of a blue and red line around it. That's your crop region. That's what allows you to crop or not to crop. And in this case, watch what happens when I turn it on. The crop region will allow you to see it or not see it. So I'll click on this, and it disappears. On, off, on, off, on, off. Okay, so I'm going to want to have it off. So I've got that, and once I put this all together, those are the notes that we want to have there, and that's basically it. Okay, so I put this together. Let's see how it looks on the sheet. So go back to my sheet here, and our sheet is now, we're up to our wall section. And so I'm going to wall section, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that. So I go take a look up here under my sections, and it's called section 1. And you could rename it if you want to. I can go ahead and rename it wall section. Okay, just so I have it there, I'm going to take this and pull it into here and drop it. And how close are we? Looks pretty good to me. Drop it there. Look at that. Looks beautiful. Fits in very nicely. And then I would do the same kind of thing. I would edit this, put my name in, as you guys have been doing all along. And then you put my name in as the checker. Because someday you'll be working for somebody. Who knows? It might be, I might hire somebody. Who knows? That could happen. And so we go through this. I've actually got a couple projects kind of coming down, and I may need some people. So if you guys know what you're doing, then maybe I could hire you. That's no promises, but if I need people, I would definitely look for students. Okay, so we're looking at this right now, and I've got this happening, and this looks pretty good. At that point, that is what that looks like. Wall section, you got this, we're good to go. Boom, boom, boom. All right, looking good. So that's how you put it together. I'm not going to do all the notes because, you know, you should be able to figure that out. The very last thing is going to be your schedules. Okay, so to do the schedules, what do I do for that? Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you for weighing in. Okay, these are your schedules. Now, schedules are something that for those of you who have been working in the industry, and there's a few of you, this is where Revit really begins to shine. This is a simple project. It's only got 4 doors and it's only got 2 windows. Nevertheless, we will not have to go and do a lot of looking around. All we have to do is query it by putting in a schedule and telling it the information we want. In this case, it's mark, family and type, height, width, and the cost. Now the cost is something I put in there just because I like to, and then you could actually get a total as far as what your budget would be, or I should say your cost would be, and verify that it does meet your budgets. This is something you can get as you go along here. Pretty cool stuff. So how do we do this? Well, to do this, we would go back over here to Revit and we just make schedules, which are really quite easy to do. So I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna go back to Revit and we share the Revit. So you've got Revit right here, and now we are going to go to schedules, okay? And you'll see that there are no schedules yet, so we have to change that. So how do we do that? We would go here in the project browser to schedules. And right now you'll see there's a door schedule and there's a window schedule. All right, let's take a look at them. All right, so when I go ahead and click on the door schedule and open it up, it shows me right here, it's already populated. Why? Because I already did this for you. So all you have to do is go back to your schedules, and you're going to drag door schedule onto here. I'm just dragging it. You go ahead and drop it here, door schedule, boom, piece of cake. And window schedule. Drag this in, boom, piece of cake. And you want to line them up, and boom, that's all you have to do. And all this information is being presented to you by the model. So to set up your schedules is not hard to do. You go ahead and slide them in, and that's it. That's a wrap. That is, those are the elements you want to put into your project. So that's it. The only thing remaining is your cover sheet. Now, let me show you how to do the cover sheet, and then I'm going to give you guys time to work on this. So going back to cover sheet, let's go back to this, and I'm going to go here, and we'll take a look at this. As we go into this right here, the very top is this right here. Now, you notice it says 3D1. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to render a view. Okay, I'm going to make a photograph of view right here. There's a few ways to do this. Yeah, you can't just make a 3D view. You can do that too. A few different ways you can do this. But that's 3D1. I went ahead and saved it. That's the name of it. So I saved it as 3D-1. Okay, so how do we go about doing that? Well, let's go ahead and see this. So going back to here, going back to Revit, I'm going to go and I'm going to take a look at this on the first floor plan, just to give myself a place to start from. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to go to my default 3D view. Okay, it looks like this right here. So what I want to do is I want to get it looking like it's supposed to. I think the view looks like something like this. And I'm going to let you guys kind of, yeah, it's pretty much like this. This is what it should look like. Okay, so it looks like that pretty much. And you know, one thing about this right now is I don't think it has my shadows on. So I can turn my shadows on here if I want to have it look a little more realistic here. I got shadows off. I got shadows on. See, I got my shadows on right now, so I went ahead and turn that on. That's something you can do if you want to have them. Then you've got to rotate a little bit so your shadows show up. You can do that. Or you can turn off your shadows, and then you could use this right down here, which would be realistic. So when I click on realistic, it's going to give me a realistic view here. It's going to crunch it a little bit. And I think we already are in realistic, aren't we? Okay, I guess we are. And so we got visual sun path off. What does that do? All right, sun path on. Okay, continue current settings. Okay, so we got that. Okay, I don't want to, so forget that. Okay, we'll just leave it like this. Okay, so to make a shot of this right now, what I want to do is I want to save this as a shot. So to do that, let's see here. So to go ahead and save that as a view, I'm going to do this. Now, right now, I'm in a 3D view. And the 3D view that I have right now is located right here. You'll notice I got 3D views under here. It's here. Now, this one says 3D. So I'm going to rename this. Okay, I'm just going to call it, let me go ahead and just kind of adjust a little bit, just to kind of get a little bit more like it looks in your handout there. You go like that. And yeah, it looks like that pretty much. And then we got this, we got that, looks pretty good. And then at that point, yeah, that's I think going to do nicely. If you go to consistent colors, or you can go to realistic. We'll just leave it like that. And then what I'm going to do is down here, I'm going to save this view. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to save this view instead of being 3D. I'm going to rename this view, right click and rename it as 3D garage view. I'm just going to rename it 3D garage view. Okay, just so I've got that. That way, if I were to go to some other view, I could do it and it won't change this one. So I just save this. Okay, that's how I keep it consistent. Now going back over here to my cover sheet, I go to my cover sheet here, and what I'm going to do is open it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my list of 3D views, and guess what I've got here? 3D garage. I'm going to take and drag it in here, and I'm going to drop it there. 3D garage view, boom, there it is. And that is what we have right there. Boom, done. And that is how we go ahead and make that happen. Now at that point, I think I might be able to turn off that title. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Yeah, it looks like I can't really turn off that title, but that's okay. We're just going to leave it on there. Title on sheet. Okay. Looks like that's there. I think there's a way to turn that off, but I can't see what it is on the top of my head. We're not going to worry about it. So as far as any kind of template, take a look at that. We've got this. Okay. Yeah, we'll just leave it alone. Okay, that's good right there. So that is what you want it to look like. So when it's all done, you have this set of construction documents. So you have cover sheet, first floor plan, second floor plan, and you can move these around if you want to a little bit. Third elevations, foundation plan, wall section, schedules. Okay, that's what you're going to do. So that is how you put it together. So I'm going to stop right now. That's about all I'm going to be covering right now, I think. But are there any questions right now before I kind of let you guys jump into this? Don't all jump at once. Any questions about this at all? Can you guys see? Okay, all right. Well,
Not right now.
okay, well, I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and work on this. That's enough to get this done. Now, this is due next week. I want you guys to work on this, and basically, we went over the basics last week using the construction documents, and what you're gonna do is you are going to navigate out to here, and what you're going to do is you are going to essentially create this set of construction documents right here. And when they're done, you're going to take these and, okay, to actually, let's see here. And yes, what you would do here is you're going to put this all together. Yeah, and what you're going to do is that is what you're going to do. And I will take a look at the project when you're all done. I'll take a look at it, take a look at your sheets, verify it looks right, and then we will take it from there. Okay, but that is what is due for next week. So this is what it looks like. Can you guys see this this printout right here of the construction documents right here? Okay, so that's what you're going to do. Let me just give you a couple fine points right now that will actually help. I'm going to go back to Revit, and I did this kind of quickly, but if I go back to here, and if I were to go back to one of the things I was looking at earlier, let's see here. If I go over here to, I got two different level ones here. Yeah, this one I want. Okay, so going to this one right here, I'm going to go ahead and go to here, and this, just to show you one thing about this, is you want to get your information like this. You can see how they're all kind of like, they're, okay, yeah, looks like I kind of should kind of zoom. You want to kind of have all these zoomed out so that they're all like to extents, so they look, you know, so they're not, so that they just kind of like fit nicely on the sheet. Just because that's, you know, that's how you want to present things. And so we're just going to zoom to extents for each one of these. And so each one of these is zoomed to extents. And to do this, you just double click the wheel on your mouse to see that. And that's how we go ahead and do that. So you're going to have your cover sheet, your first floor plan, your second floor plan, your elevations, foundation plan, wall section, and your schedules. Okay, that's what you're going to have. That is what will complete this. So that is it. That is all we have. I think that completes everything. Those are the points that I want to cover for the lecture for tonight. So I'm going to let you guys go ahead and work on it. If any of you guys have any questions, I am here. We are now in lab time. And again, lab time is your time. So I'm going to go ahead and park it right here. And I'm going to go ahead and park this here.